everyone, I'm Katrina and today I'm going to be doing the try a chapter tag with a bit of a twist. In the original tag, the idea is to pick 5 books that you've been meaning to read the first chapter of each of those, and then whichever one you like the best or find yourself most engrossed in will be the deciding factor for which one you'll read next. But instead I decided to do an Unhaul edition because every so often I go through my books and pick out some ones that I no longer have any interest in keeping, and there's been a few that have popped up each time I've done this that I've considered getting rid of, but at the last minute I'm like, no, you know what, I'll keep it just in case. But I've never gotten around to reading those books. What I've decided to do is pick out some of those books that I've been kind of iffy about, been considering getting rid of probably for a couple of years now. I'm either going to get rid of the books, or if I do decide to keep any, I have to read it within a month or 2. If I don't, then I'm going to get rid of it, because if I don't read it anytime soon after trying the first chapter, then I'm probably not going to get around to reading it ever. So might as well just donate it and let somebody else enjoy it. So these are the 5 books that I've decided to give a go, and on average the first chapters are actually pretty short. I think the shortest chapter is 8 pages, and then the most I have to read is 20, which is 18 pages plus a 2-page prologue. So it's not too bad, shouldn't take too long doing this, but let's see how I do. The Repossession by Sam Hawksmoor follows a young girl named Jeannie, and in her town there have been 34 kids that have gone missing. Jeannie has been locked up in her room for 6 weeks because her mum believes that she is possessed and the devil wants to take her as his bride. And whilst she is locked up, there is a face on the wall that tells her that she is next, and Jeannie realizes that she's going to be the next kid to go missing. In the first chapter there's not a huge amount that's actively happening. Jeannie is situated in her room. She's been kept locked away for 6 weeks, and she has a few flashbacks. There's a flashback to how she and her boyfriend kind of got together, and there's also the moment that causes her mother to believe that she is possessed. In addition to that, it also talks about what has kind of happened over the past 6 weeks. So in the first chapter there's not really much that's actually happening. We're getting told what has happened in the past, but there's not a lot of action happening so far. It did slow down the pace a bit, so I didn't find that there was enough to really hook me and grab my attention. Then we have Cruel by Jennifer Albin. This is set in a dystopian society. There are spinsters who are able to weave time with matter. The main character, Adelise, has this gift of weaving. However, if she is chosen to become a spinster, there's really no turning back. She will no longer be able to see her family. She's not able to marry. I think the body of power in this society as well is called the Guild, and there seems to be a lot of secrecy and corruption as well. This is the one that had the prologue and then chapter 1. The prologue was really nice and short and sweet and really hooked me straight away. The first chapter, by the end of it, we do get to see some action as well. I did like it, but I'm not sure if I'm really in the mood for a dystopian book. There's just been a lot of oversaturation with the dystopian genre. And while I do like the concept with the weaving of time, I think I would have preferred that idea separate from a dystopian society. I'm not sure if that element will really be enough. The dystopian society in here as well is also very patriarchal, and there's a lot of oppression of women. I'm also not sure if I'm really in the mood for that either at this point in time. I also picked up Miss Fortune Cookie by Lauren Bjorkman, but the main character in this one, Erin, is in high school, and she is the secret mastermind behind this advice blog called Miss Fortune Cookie, and things spiral out of control when her ex-best friend sends in a letter to the blog and acts upon the advice that Erin gives. So I think that kind of creates a whole lot of mess, and Erin tries to fix everything. For some reason I thought that the characters were going to be a bit younger in age. I don't know what gave me that idea, to be honest, but I discovered when reading the first chapter that they seem to be in their final year of high school, so there's a lot of talk about college. This one I also liked, though didn't immediately fall in love with it. One of the things that I did notice in the first chapter that I have a feeling will continue on throughout the rest of the book and might irritate me is that some of the characters, particularly Erin's best friends who are Chinese or Chinese American, there seems to be a bit of stereotyping there with their characters and also their family members. We also have Enclave by Anne Agwad. This is a post-apocalyptic dystopian society as well. The main character is Deuce, and at the beginning of the book she goes through the naming ritual. The people in her enclave, if they manage to survive their first 15 years of life, they reach that certain age, they have earned the right to a name, and she has a job as a huntress. And as a huntress, her job is to brave the dangerous tunnels filled with monsters outside of the enclave and bring back food for her people. I think I preferred the post-apocalyptic society that we see in this book more so than the one that we get a glimpse of in Cruel, because that is more dystopian, and like I said, I'm not really in the mood for dystopian, so I was more drawn to the kind of world and the makeup of the enclave in this one. I also did enjoy this one, but it is very much an introductory chapter, kind of getting to know the way of life is. We don't really see much of the outside world, and from what I can tell from the synopsis, which I only actually read after finishing my reading of the first chapter, we will get to see more of the outside world eventually. So I didn't get much of a sense of how dangerous it is. So I'm intrigued, but kind of wanted to get a little bit more. Finally, we have Mila 2.0 by Deborah Dreeser. It's been a couple of hours since I read the chapter, and I've completely forgotten what happened in it. The only notes that I made for this one was and not enough happening to keep me hooked, and obviously there wasn't enough happening to be memorable either. Like, what happened? So I'm just kind of flicking through to get an idea of what happened again. Okay, I kind of have an idea of what happened in the first chapter, and not really much happened. There wasn't much action. There was a bit of reflection like we had in the repossession, so thinking back on what had happened in the past, or at least trying to remember what had happened in the past. So yeah, not much of an impression with the first chapter on this one. I can't believe I completely forgot what happened. So on the whole, each of these had a pretty good first chapter. I didn't dislike anything. There was just one case where it was completely unmemorable, and then with a couple of the other ones there was one or two things that popped up that I thought might be an issue for me later in the book. To be honest, I wouldn't be sad if I rejected all 5 of those. I wouldn't feel like there was anything that I really lost. So that probably means that I should get rid of all of them. In saying that, however, I think I'm going to give one of them a go, just because it is the shortest one of the lot and I liked what I saw. I just wanted a bit more, and that one was Enclave by Anne Aguirre. So I think this is one that I'm going to try and read in the next month or two. If I don't get around to reading it, then you will likely see it in an upcoming Unhaul video. The rest of them I will bid adieu, and I will get rid of them and donate them to charity. That concludes this video with the try a chapter tag. At some point in the future, I think I will do the original try a chapter tag with the idea of picking a book to read next. But just because I've got so many books that I've been wanting to unhaul recently, I thought that I should get on with that first. So that is what I have done. I'm also really interested in hearing what you guys thought about Enclave by Anne Aguirre. Have I made a grave mistake in giving this a chance? Or is it actually a really good book and I should bump it up higher on my TBR pile and actually make the effort to read it? Let me know down in the comment section below. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you tomorrow with a new video, but until next time, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye!